I'm NBC Connecticut Chief Meteorologist Ryan Hanrahan. Welcome to the Storm Tracker Weather Lab. I want to give you an update here on weather conditions locally and across the country because I know a lot of people hitting the roads, getting a flight out of town for Thanksgiving. And we do have one storm that's moving on through and a couple issues. I think overall things are not looking terrible. I think we've seen far worse in terms of Thanksgiving travel, but there's a couple issues I want to keep you updated on. So make sure you subscribe and like this page, and also drop in the comments where you're watching from, and if you've got any questions, would love to hear from you. All right, let's take a look at what's going on right now. We're going to start off with a broad picture here, what's happening across the lower 48, because at least right now, there's really only one part of the country that's getting impacted by a more significant system, and that is down in Texas. We've got this area of low pressure across the plains, and there's a cold front that stretches down to the south, down through portions of Texas, and this is producing some severe weather. In fact, we've got a tornado watch in effect for portions of Texas. So I'm going to zoom in and just show you, give you a little tour here across the country. So New England right now is looking good. The Northeast is in great shape. We love to see that. No major issues going on in New England or the Northeast. Across the Midwest, a little bit of rain heading towards Chicago, but down south, there is the potential for some severe weather. So Houston, it's a United hub, obviously. There may be some travel issues in and out of Houston, but at least right now, for most of the country, things are relatively quiet. So that's some good news there. But again, portions of East Texas looking at the potential for severe weather. On the water vapor loop, you can see the setup. We've got this big dip in the jet stream that is beginning to develop. And this dip in the jet stream is why we've got this storm forming. But that storm is actually going to move to the north and to the east, and it's going to travel to the west of us. And because it moves to the west of New England, we're going to be on the warm side of things. So it's much warmer on the eastern side of the storm. The cold air is in the central part of the country. But that's good news, because at least here along the eastern seaboard, with this storm heading up to the west of us, we get some rain in here. But at least right now, it doesn't look like we're going to be dealing with any wintry weather. So not talking about snow or ice or anything like that, which certainly could cause some issues. There's quite a bit of instability down across portions of Texas, and that is why out ahead of that front, that is why there's a tornado watch in effect. And that tornado watch is through the remainder of the afternoon and the evening. So as you take a look across the country, there's one watch box out, and that is across portions of Texas and Louisiana. So at least most of the country fairly quiet. Temperatures across the country, not bad. There's really no big Arctic air to be found. 50 in Hartford, 57 in D.C. There's some warmth down south. Not bad in Florida, right? 81 degrees in Orlando, 52 in Kansas City. A little colder to the north. And there is going to be this weather pattern change that develops over the next couple days into the week, and that is going to be some cold air moving through the central part of the country into the Midwest and eventually into the Northeast. So you're going to see that cold starting to build across the northern plains and the Midwest, but at least now, about as good as it gets for the Monday before Thanksgiving weather-wise. In terms of airport delays, right now, up and down the eastern seaboard, we're good. Lots of green. We like those green airplanes. That means no airport delays reported. DFW, they're out of the storms. The storms moved through there yesterday and this morning. The storms have moved east, but Houston is looking at some issues. And I think that's going to be an issue throughout the day down in Houston. But for the rest of the country, rest of the big hubs, Atlanta, Chicago, Minneapolis, Denver, Los Angeles, looking good right now. So that is the good news there. So let's talk about our weather closer to home here in the Northeast for the next couple days. For tomorrow, we're going to start off with some clouds. I think it's mainly cloudy across most of New England tomorrow. But then by later in the day, by late afternoon, evening, you see some rain moving in from the west. So we're going to increase the chances for some rain across Pennsylvania, New York, and then into New England. The rain first moves in to the mid-Atlantic, and then it continues east from there. It's a little milder tomorrow. Temperatures will be into the 50s. Looking at what that's 55 in New York, 51 in Boston, 50 in Syracuse, some rain in D.C., 56. So tomorrow is going to be our day where we've got to deal with at least a couple issues with some rain. But again, this isn't a big storm. There's no flooding issues. There's no severe thunderstorms. So just some rain moving in. And notice that rain snow line is way to the north. So Buffalo, Toronto, Detroit, all getting rain out of this system. And then for Wednesday, we could see some leftover showers first thing in the morning, Boston, New York, but we clear out pretty quickly. And with the wind coming in from the west, we're going to warm up in a pretty big way think we'll see temperatures on Wednesday up around 60 degrees across southern New England down toward New York City. So it's going to be a mild day as we head into Thanksgiving. So travel-wise, again, some rain expected tomorrow night here in southern New England into early Wednesday morning. But for the most part, the system is not that big of a deal. So let's go hour by hour here. Future radar across the region, Philadelphia, New York, Boston, up into northern New England. So for the rest of today, sunny, beautiful. It's a really nice day out there right now. Advance the clock to this evening. Notice we start to see some clouds heading in toward eastern New York. Some of those clouds begin to stream in. So by Tuesday morning, it's mainly overcast across southern New England, really across the whole Northeast. And watch the rain. So you can see the rain beginning to show up here. This is 3 o'clock. Start to see some showers heading toward New York City, starting to rain across Pennsylvania and New York. So if you're heading west on Tuesday, I think you are going to run into some of that rain. So west on 80, west on 84 starts to rain, and then that rain overspreads southern New England. And we'll see rain Tuesday night into early Wednesday morning. Again, not looking at a ton of it here, but there is a chance for a quick downpour early Wednesday morning. But by 5:30 a.m., the wind comes out of the west. We start to dry things out, and check that out. The rain's out of here by Wednesday morning. So I know Wednesday is a big travel day, and at least right now, it looks like we're going to get that rain out of here pretty quickly after Tuesday night into early Wednesday morning, and that means things are looking okay for travel on Wednesday itself. A little bit of rain may try to skirt by in the morning. Then the sun comes out by afternoon, and it's a warm day with that westerly wind. I think we'll see temperatures up to about 60 degrees in many areas on Wednesday. And for Thanksgiving, well, looking pretty good here across the I-95 corridor. A decent amount of sunshine. Temperatures will be cooler. We'll see temperatures dropping after some colder air moves in from the north, but no major Thanksgiving issues expected. One caveat to that is going to be up across portions of northern New York and western New York. I do think there is going to be the potential for some heavy lake effect snow in the areas that are pretty favored for that. So some places near Buffalo, some places near Syracuse, into the Adirondacks, going to get some lake effect snow. But that is not going to be impacting most travelers. Pretty rural up in good swaths of northern New York there. In terms of rainfall here in the Connecticut area and across southern New England for tonight and Wednesday morning, looks like about a half an inch. I think a half an inch is a pretty good bet there in terms of rainfall. Some locally higher pockets. I was looking at one computer model that has like a really narrow swath of over an inch, but for the most part, I think a half inch of rain looks like a decent bet. Now, we did mention it's going to get colder. We bring in some colder air behind this system. So it's Wednesday, mild. Thursday, watch the blue come in. So we turn sharply colder for Thursday. This is the wind chill Thanksgiving morning. Wind chill 30 in Windsor Locks, 25 in Torrington, 33 in Groton. So pretty cold out there. Wind chills for most of the day on Thanksgiving in the 30s, and the core of the cold rolls in for Friday, and that's going to drop that wind chill on Friday into the teens across Litchfield County, 17 Friday morning. So if you're one of those people that likes to go shopping on Black Friday with all the crowds, it's going to be a little cold first thing in the morning. And then even through afternoon, I think we peak at about freezing, at about 32 degrees. That should be about it. So cold one behind that front after Thanksgiving, and especially Friday and Saturday. In terms of potential snowfall to our north, notice nothing across most of the I-95 corridor. But once you get up into the lake effect regions, you're talking about potentially over 4 inches, 5 inches, 6 inches of snow through the weekend. Nothing they can't handle, not that big of a deal. But if your plans bring you into the Adirondacks or Syracuse or out toward Buffalo, there will be some issues. Taking I-90 across New York, certainly some problems in central New York and western New York as that lake effect snow kicks up. Lake effect snow, pretty common this time of year. So not a big surprise there. As we take a look at the jet stream pattern for all of us, we're going to see that dip developing in the central part of the country, and that's when the cold air filters in, and that's why it's going to be a cooler end to November as the cold filters in from the north. Not really expecting here any significant issues in terms of records or anything like that, but it is definitely going to get colder. I think we're going to see those temperatures drop to below normal levels. But again, we're not expecting record cold or real dangerous wind chills. Just a reminder that, yeah, it is November after all. And so it is going to get a little chilly out there. So some colder weather on the way after Thanksgiving. And that, at least right now, looks like it's going to be the big weather story once we get beyond Thanksgiving. And the extended outlook here, this is looking at the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook. Well, you can see a lot of cold to the west, a lot of warmth across the southeastern part of the country. And what does that mean? Well, it means the jet streams are right over the Midwest into New England. And so where you have that boundary between cold and warm, well, that's where you could have a pretty active looking storm track. And because of that, it looks like it could get a little unsettled, maybe even a little wintry across portions of New England for the beginning of December. So if you like winter, something to be mindful of, something to keep an eye on, because it does look like we are going to start to see some changes to the weather pattern, maybe a little stormier after Thanksgiving once we get toward the first week of December. So, hey, thanks for joining. It's great to see people popping in. Keep an eye on the forecast. We're going to be doing these periodically through the week to keep you posted, because I know it's a very busy travel time and you want to get to your destination safely and as quickly as possible. So we're going to help you out with the forecast here. So thanks again for joining. We'll keep you posted. Have an awesome Thanksgiving if we don't see you before then.